Marijuana businesses like Chester Cannabis Company grow hemp and CBD products for their consumers in the state of Virginia. The owners, Griffin Moon and David Bedard, expressed their reasons for starting this business and the impact this legislation could have on their products.
The market's very young here in Virginia, and there's not a lot of companies doing what we did with the cultivation and the product side of things. So we kind of wanted to get a jump start before full legalization comes around, and there's a lot of big money, big players coming in.
But their hopes for a cannabis market industry were no more after the latest news from the governor's office. In 2021, Virginia became the first southern state to pass a law permitting adults 21 and older to possess and grow small amounts of cannabis. Currently, to legally purchase cannabis products in the Commonwealth, a certified approval is necessary, and buyers can purchase up to 4 ounces every 30 days. With Democrats regaining control of the House in the last election, pro-legalization activists became optimistic that a retail marijuana market bill would reach the end of the legislative process this session. Despite the hope of many activists, in a 4-page statement by Governor Youngkin, he expresses fear that approving the bill would increase the exposure of narcotics within the state and further harm public health and safety. Chelsea Higgs-Wise, who is the director of Marijuana Justice, a nonprofit organization aiming to educate Americans on the history of cannabis criminalization, disagrees with the governor.
So what we've seen with all drugs, particularly, is that if we do not legalize the drugs or create a healthy access, there will be unhealthy products that continue to grow on the market. And again, that's not just with marijuana. That's with fentanyl. That's with other drugs as well, which is why we really have to look at decriminalization overall, because that is what's continuing to increase the market of really bad and synthetic drugs.
A lawyer representing the Virginia Cannabis Association, Greg Habib, says there is support on both sides for a regulated marijuana market.
Then there's the political question. Every year is an election year in Virginia. More and more the polls show that this is a bipartisan issue. Nobody wants a system where unlicensed drug dealers sell untested, untaxed products. And so I think there's going to be some political consequences as more and more people come around to the idea that we need to regulate this market.
For the owners of the Chester Cannabis Company, they claim the constant changing of marijuana laws in the state create frustration among the industry.
It's hard to kind of, set up a business if you can only think a year or a couple of years in advance instead of, 5-10 years down the line. It's hard to think of the future if you don't know what the next year is even going to look like for what you can and can't sell.
According to a statewide poll conducted by the Wason Center for Civic Leadership at Christopher Newport University, 60% of Virginians support allowing the retail sale of recreational marijuana in Virginia. Reporting for VCU InSight in the newsroom at VCU, I'm Mark Jones.